Hello, everyone. This is Michael Mirdad here, and I'm welcoming you to this is our Friday presentation. We do it every Friday for a few years now, I think, and it's the Friday Night Spiritual Insights with Michael Mirdad. So thanks for joining us. You're welcome to join us also on Sundays. Another free presentation is our sacred Sunday services from Unity of Sedona. If you feel called to make donations, that's absolutely wonderful. If not, that's okay too. But those of you who make donations, God bless you and thank you, because that's what finances this work. All right. So today we're going to talk about something that came up a few days ago in our daily program. We have a daily program. It's most days of the week. It's called Edenshire Live on Zoom. And we have a lot of dedicated folks that watch every day. And we have different hosts that do different presentations. It could be on herbology, or it could be on spirituality, or God-Goddess development, or whatever, soul growth of various types. So feel free, to join us for that. But in that program, somebody brought up, I think it was a day or two ago, the issue of being grounded. So what I want to talk about is, grounded versus hypersensitive. And grounding means not just that you're, dense. Grounded means that you are integrated, believe it or not, grounded. Now, there's people that are overly dense, of course, very earthy, very earth-based, very material, very primal. And those would be people that are almost overly grounded, and you might even just call them ground, dense, rock-ish. And that's not the solution. Overly earthy, and it's not to say anything negative about earth, I'm just saying to be overly material-based would mean like not having any upper chakras, to put it in that terminology. Be like just root chakra and not any other centers, no other chakras, no other awareness, no energy going upwards, just down, ground oriented. And the opposite, all this energy going up, not grounded, it's an issue. So some people are saying to me, in the Edenshire Live program, Michael, what do I do? And I've done other videos, so watch those on YouTube, related to grounding. But in a nutshell, the more we grow in consciousness, the more we learn to balance all of this, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Like just earth, water, fire, air, ether, like beautiful, just balanced and integrated. That should just make so much sense already. To have any chakra blazing, some people are like, oh, I just want my third eye completely open and nothing else. Watch what you pray for. Oh, I just want my heart completely open. That's great. That's a good definition of a hypersensitive person. Someone who's so empathic, they just take on everybody's stuff. So be careful what you ask for. Believe it or not, someone who is, let's say, doing entity extraction or work like that, house clearing, demonic possession, doing exorcisms. And I'm just using this as an extreme example, but people that do that work, oh my God, they're so much safer if they're kind of grounded. You see all shows, on TV, there's a lot of those things these days where people do that kind of work. And it's kind of cool because in many cases, especially the ones where they want to clear the houses, not just the guys that walk around in the dark, investigating like sounds. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Wow, that's interesting. And that's the end of this episode. It's kind of never goes anywhere. It's kind of like that. But the ones that actually do some deep work, it's interesting because there's often, usually female, clairvoyant, very heart chakra. So she's very sensitive, so she picks things up. And then there's a guy, kind of dense, grounded. And he helps keep it all balanced, and she keeps it all balanced. So it's that's one way to kind of look at how this balanced idea works best. except each of us can be fully balanced instead of needing someone else to do that, which is fine to do as well. But I like that idea of each of us being completely interdependent and balanced. So on another note, to finish what I'm saying about grounding and hypersensitivity and all that, the more we grow, the more we would be balanced. But the more we grow, in all honesty, it's understandable that a lot of people on the spiritual path are like, oh, you know, this world, they have financial issues, or they have relationship issues. They're on the spiritual path. You think everything would just be peachy, right? No, because the more they're on the path, they have this, people tend to have this erroneous, mistaken belief that I'm growing spiritually, so I'm really growing and opening up more upper chakras. So the lower chakras suffer. There might be sexual issues or a lack thereof, any sex. It could be, as I said, financial, there's root chakra stuff, or it could be the emotional center, the relationship stuff. That's not God's will, that we be all like topsy-turvy like that. You know, look at me, upper chakras glowing, everything else dark. All it means is when you go to the other side and you pass over, they're sending you back to work on that. Get this energy up, balance that energy, you know. So, but at the same time, yes, guys, I totally understand. I feel it myself a lot that, you know, God, you grow and you have meditation, or it's like anything else that's blissful. God is a very wonderful, positive addiction, although it's not really an addiction by definition. I'm saying that playfully. You know, addictions promise something they can't offer. First, addictions affirm, they confirm and affirm that you're flawed. And therefore, you're going to go seeking something. So you're flawed. You're going to seek something to help your flaw or your emptiness or whatever. And it will not, you'll find something and it will not be able to continue fulfilling it. So it's a crash. So, and then you need more. So only in the sense that we fall in love with our various addictions, we also fall in love with God, but it's not falling, it's rising in love. It's like you have a meditation, you're like, I mean, look at all the people that pass over for minutes and come back. They have a near-death experience, NDE. So the vast majority of them, they can have partners. Oh, I love my husband, my wife, my partner. Oh, we've been married 20 or 30 years or whatever. Oh, you know, I got children, whatever. As soon as they have this experience, oh, you know, the clouds part, the skies part, the heavens open, you know, and they feel the light of God. They're like, what children? Like, I'm there, man. You know, 1 minute it's like, I would never leave my poor little poodle. And the next minute it's like, bye, you know, bye Snoopy, you know, or whatever. And off you want to go. And that's not bad. It's totally understandable. Some people have seen beings on the other side that said, it's not your time, go back. Others have been recalled, being told, you get to choose today. Because it depends on, because sometimes when we meet our ending, it's absolutely our e-ticket time. It's like we clocked out. It is our planned time to go. Other times, our path has had one or more alternate exit points. It does happen that way. That's why some of you may have remembered feeling like you might not live past your 20s or 30s, and then you did, because you probably knew that there was a crossroads that you would reach, that you might exit. And the non-exiting could have been anything from a car accident that did happen, but you lived, or almost happened, and it was abated, you know. So, you know, I'm leading to one point, which is that I totally get that you have a great meditation, and it's like, why do I even want to go back to this world, this work? Why do I want to go back to work? Oh God, how many times I've done workshops over many years I've taught, where people just like, oh, wow, you know, and it happens quite often. no matter what I say, because I try to warn people, you're going to come to this workshop, you're going to feel like, wow, this is just incredible, amazing. But then you're going to have a little hard time reintegrating, because there's all this bliss and people and friendships, especially years ago when I had my own retreat. People could befriend each other, where in a workshop building, it's different. At a hotel, you rent a conference room, it's different. But still, the vibe is there. The usual pattern is there, which is, this is so amazing. Friends like this, I just revealed my soul. There's nobody at home that I've ever told these things to, or God, the love, and all those kinds of things. It's like bliss, basically. And then there's the people that call afterwards. I'm having a crisis, Oh, I can't go back to work. There's no way. It's not my thing. It's not my soul's purpose. What I'm leading to, this portion of what I'm saying, is all of that is the same. I don't want to be here. And A Course in Miracles would concur, and the teachings of Christ consciousness concurs, that this place is not our home. Nicely, I sometimes would just say, this place sucks. It does. This is not our divine inheritance. Oh, but Michael, you're wrong. Look at how beautiful nature is. God, look at, as I look out my windows here, look at my yard is incredible. Green, roses right out the window, right there. Statues, little angels, and wow, just beautiful. And you could say that. But if you're going to want that to be beautiful, if you're going to call that nature beautiful, this world beautiful, then you don't forget to stop and say, what about the butterflies that are stuck in the spider's web and it's blood being sucked out of it? Is that somehow, can you actually justify that? Oh, well, it's the cycle of life. Easily said. What about when you're the butterfly and your ex was sucking blood out of you? Literally or figuratively, whatever. Sucking life force out of you. It's sometimes literal and sometimes metaphoric, but they do. People pull energy from each other. Is that, you're going to justify that? And 1 in a million people do. They argue with me. Oh no, Michael, everything's beautiful. It's all, molestation is okay, and rape, it's all part of learning. It's like, for absolute numbskulls, you have to be pretty thick-headed to think that humans are so screwed up that they need to be raped to supposedly learn lessons, and the rapist who's supposedly learning lessons. This is not God's will. That's why people aren't grounded. They come into this world sometimes, and there's a couple reasons why people get very, I don't want to be here. One is, I've evolved to the point where I see through this place. It's not our home. I get it. So why do I even want to bother? The answer, though, don't so quickly go, honey, you have to go back now after that great meditation, just like near-death experience. Sorry, but you got to go back. And that's the lesson. But the other reason, besides spirituality, is trauma. So some of us have been traumatized as children or other lifetimes. You come into this life sometimes with trauma, and damn well, this, oh my God, what is this density? Oh my God, my father is anxious about money and work. My mother is not certain about having a child, or whatever her stuff would be. Her emotions, or uncertainty about her marriage, or there's a partnership involved, or there's an adoption involved. So there's this stuff, and then while I'm lying in the womb, in an embryonic fluid, and just it's a chance to feel like, oh, this is like from heaven to a pseudo heaven of not so bad. But at the same time, something's wrong, because as I'm laying in there, my mom's watching the news. So it's like, or my mom's smoking, and if the sort of the science behind that, every time the mother takes a hit of the cigarette, the baby's heart stops. The life force in the child pauses for a fraction of a second. In some ways, imperceptible. But, so that child's being like, it's like being punched every time she takes a drag. I'm not trying to shame you if you smoke. I don't care. That's your business. But I'm saying this is what happens. So it's dad comes home from work. He's all anxious again. There's yelling. Parents are fighting. It's like, wow, what is wrong with you people? The child, in a way. And so the child, I don't want to be here, or mom didn't want me for sure. Mom wasn't sure she wanted me or she didn't want me. They were talking about abortion. Oh, or adopting me out. Oh my God, I'm feeling unwanted. The pregnancy was from rape. The pregnancy was from an unloving sexual experience of any kind. I don't want to be here. And it's trauma, guys, trauma. This life or another, you come in with it and it just makes you not want to be here. So unhealed wounds can make us feel basically ungrounded and feel like we don't want to be here. So what'll happen with unhealed wounds, how that affects our grounding, what'll happen is, essentially is you'll either have that wounding that's going to make you, either one of a couple things. I don't want to be here. So my ungroundedness can take a couple of forms is what I'm leading to, but I could either space out and just kind of drift because I don't want to be here. So I just kind of drift. And that makes you even more subject to or vulnerable to trauma and harm and wounding in this world. But logically you think, if I'm not in my body, I won't hurt as much. So you leave your body. Predators love people who are not grounded. Geez Louise, man. Come on, stay here. Well, it's easy for me to say, stay here. I understand why you want to go. I don't love this place at times. Love spiritually, yes. But as a human, man, it's hard. And I get both. I have both and get both. There's spiritual, I get it. And there's also the stuff of this world that makes you go, I'm out of here. So the way we respond to the wounding and the way we become ungrounded is either just kind of drift and float around, or you become hypervigilant, which is also up, up, up. I want to go. So I'm like this. One is passive, drifting around, and one is assertive, hyper. So you're hypervigilant. What was that noise? I've known people that, all the way back to high school or whatever. When I walk in a room, my type of person, despite the fact that I teach and do all this external stuff, I'm also very quiet. I'm very introspective, and all that. So I often walk into a room and people don't even know I've walked in the room. I don't plod, because I'm not overly earth. But I also don't walk in and trip over something, just being spaced out. So I would walk in a room quite often in my life and, hey, how's it going? People, whoa, they startle, which we could all do at least once in our life. But still, when you're grounded, you're aware, you're not hypersensitive. You're aware. Like Shaolin Man, the old Kung Fu show. It's like Shaolin, so it's like, I know where I'm at. People around me say, how did you know that something, something fell out of my hair or something landed in my hair? How did you know? I didn't feel it. How did you see it? How did you? And people say this all the time to me for many, many, many years. I'm aware because I'm here. I'm tempted to not want to be here like anybody, Jesus himself. I'm tempted to not want to be, but I'm here. So I'm grateful that I healed enough, centered enough, and grew enough to where I can handle being here. Yeah, what would you need today? You need some rocks moved? Let me help you. You would like some waters flowered? Let me help you. You want to share a wound and a trauma, or you want to share an inspiration? I'm right there. And that's, I believe, where we need to be, or, you know, which is, it feels good to kind of be in that place. But at the same time, guys, I understand it, and I don't have time to go too far into this. I'm just saying what you're feeling is understandable, but where are you going? Are you drifting? Is that your means of dealing with it, you know, and being ungrounded? The problem is getting ungrounded, but which way are you going? The passive floating or the hypervigilant? Either one, you'll get startled when somebody enters a room, but one of them is tense, creates acidity in your system, your muscles, your joints, everything's just cooking. It's just deep frying. Sorry, but that's what it's doing, in acid, because you're on alert. At least the passive one is a bit calmer, but sad, because their calmness isn't namaste, inner peace, you know? It's, I'm kind of hiding, and I'm kind of depressed and oppressed, perhaps. And so it's a passive hurt reaction to hurt, but no better, no worse than the hypersensitive, you know? That is, none of that is God. None of that is God's will for you. We are made in God's image, and God is not sitting in heaven going, oh my God, you know, humans, man, they walk through the gates of heaven sometimes and startle me. You know, it's just not the way this works. The peace of God, you know, is what we are, what we're meant to feel, what we're meant to be, what we're meant to experience, what we're meant to share with one another. So please, never assume that being ungrounded symbolizes your ultra spiritual evolution. Some people do think that. Please know better. It's going to be from wounding, and it's going to be that the wounding went one of two directions with your ungroundedness. They're similar because either can be startled, either is ungrounded. That's right, general description. But one is choosing to be hypervigilant as a defense. The other one, I'm going to space out as a defense. The spacing out is kind of like, you know, you have your fight, flight, freeze. Both of those are kind of like flight, but one is really just leaving, you know. And I feel, you know, I feel for people that have that, because nobody does. There's not like a doctor you go to. Counselors can help. Grounding exercises can help. So quick answer. Foods that are grounding, even below ground vegetables, but grounding. But when I say anything, like if I say drumming's good for you, because it is, it's grounding, boom, 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 it's grounding. But if boom, boom makes you like, you know, space out, not good. Gardening, getting your hands in the earth, man, grounding. But if you're like, I love gardening, I start to speak to the fairies, and then I drift off. You know, that's not grounded gardening, you know? So be like an earthworm, man, you know, get in the soil, and that's grounding. You know, that's why earthworms are sort of seen to be like the gnomes of the earth, but I won't go into that. Etheric beings and their role. I won't go into that right now, but they're all elemental. So connect with the element earth. Yeah, foods, below ground vegetables, and meats, red meats. I'm not saying, you know, because some of you are like, oh, I'm so spaced out and hypersensitive, I can't digest meats. Obviously, because you're not down here in your stomach digesting, you're out here somewhere. So I get it, but a little bit of something like that could take you down a little bit. Working your legs and hips, man, working them, stairs, whatever, you know. Sorry, but I'm dealing with I see that the screen kind of blurred a little bit. But let me play with that a little there. Hey, are we now in focus? So focus, folks, listen. So yeah, you know, it's foods, exercise, the hips and legs. You know, some people are like, okay, if you think exercise, you know, so rock climbing, no, because you're trying to go up. We're trying to get you here, not, you know, up, you know. No, skydiving, even though you're coming down. No, you're out there. You're in the air. No, no. Swimming, no. You're definitely not grounded when you're swimming. It's like skydiving, but in water. You're floating, you're out. Get on the earth, okay? Music, certain music colors, rusts, and earth tones. It's all stuff that'll help. Rarely is it the case that I'm so spiritual, I'm barely here. That's rare. It happens, but it's rare. I'm just so, wow, I'm just so vibrating so high, I'm barely here. And it'll come to pass where all of humanity is going to vibrate so high that the earth itself will launch to another dimension, so that we all go with it because we're in the symbiotic relationship with it. It will transition to a higher dimension of itself, and we'll go with it at the same time. So being grounded will no longer be even a third dimensional grounding process, but it'll be a new version of grounding, but not at all dense, dense, dense. So I'm closing with that. Just that, there are things people can do. Some people wearing hematite helps, or very earthy agate kinds of stones, rocks. Please don't be ungrounded and then be putting like amethyst on your third eye. Wonderful. It's beautiful for most people. But if you're ungrounded, you need, get here, grind, chew up something, eat foods that take some, you need to get in your body. Sexuality, some people space out. But if you're really present, have sex slow, even whether it's with yourself or somebody else, slow. The faster you go, the more you're out. And that's fine to do for play, but balance it with grounding. Balance it with slowing down. So sexuality, dance, twirling and spacing, no. But some in your legs, in your body, movement, and feeling what you feel. The real key to grounding, there's meditation, sit by a tree, picture your navel center going down to the center of the earth. These are all great things. You can check all over YouTube, including my videos, some grounding exercises, but the last and the best, easiest, and wonderful, effective, slow down. When I slow down, I'm not hyper vigilant aware, but I'm walking slowly enough to know what the temperature is, and that's an exercise you can do. You're walking to your car, after work, or you're walking to a grocery store after being in your car, and just slow down. Where am I right now? The air is fresh, or it's not, it's smoky, or I'm walking barefooted, or I have shoes on. What's the temperature? By slowing down and asking, where am I? What's happening right now? I'm showing up. And when I show up, I'm not only getting balanced, I'm actually getting fully integrated, head to toe. Be in the now is what that means, but not, I'm so in the now, I'm spacing out. That's not the now. That's a tomorrow, believe it or not. Yeah, hope you guys understand and are, patient with my silly comments sometimes that I make, my jabs and making fun of some of these things, or sometimes, boom, just being blunt. But that's balance. A little this, a little that works, for me and for most people that watch. So God bless, guys. Thank you for tuning in. A little bit how this happens, a little bit of what's behind it, a little bit of solutions, that I'm sharing in the bit of time that we were on, 30 minutes or so. Thank you guys so much. I usually try to keep this to 20 minutes, but I went a little longer because at the last second there, I thought probably should share some tools that you would enjoy instead of just sharing about the topic. Let me give you some solutions, which I usually like to do. All right. So blessings to you all. Join us where and when you can. Friday night Spiritual Insights, 5:30 every Friday. You can join us at 10 o'clock Arizona time for any Sunday sacred service. It's a beautiful thing to be, even if you're far when you're in your living room, to have your own secret, your own sacred. Sacred comes from secret, secret comes from sacred. They're kind of a similar word. The sacred experience, the tones, the gong, sometimes the chant, the singing, the feeling, the teaching, the meditation, the visualization, all of that, wherever you are, in your living room or in your car, and all this really beautiful, deep stuff being shared by hundreds or thousands of people around the world watching our work, you know. And what I have is, I don't have a church. I have been the spiritual leader at Unity of Sedona, but it just was a matter of time to getting them to, you know, understand that my work and the real work is all global, because we're all one. So it's been just the last bit of time that we started going global, and people can watch from all over the world. Now I was able to say, see, so global has worked very well for years, right? Everybody's like, yeah, we're all over the world and everybody's digging it. I said, then let's now call it a global ministry. And you know, that's what it is. So the day I die, I'll be engaged in sharing in a global ministry. Those of you who can support it by prayer, wonderful. By intent, great. By watching, fantastic. By donating, God bless. Thank you so much. Whatever the case, if you don't dig it, watch something that would feed your soul something else. All right? So thank you guys. Many blessings. Namaste. Now must go. Bye-bye.